So, goal setting really is the cornerstone of UDL and personalized learning coming together. And when we think about goal setting and we think about kind of where that fits in each of these frameworks, in our UDL framework and in our personalized learning framework, we'll start with personalized learning. It really centers around these two pieces right here: student centered learning and student learning progressions. Student centered learning, obviously, kids are setting goals, making them highly personalized, making their learning highly personalized, and ensuring that they are working towards their own personal goals. Even if they match the goals of the class, it's making it so that the student is kind of in control and the student is really driving the learning. And student learning progressions, as we kind of move through the rest of this course, you'll start to see how this is the very beginning of a student learning progression. We often organize them in what's called a PLP, which kind of assigns students to do some self-assessing, to set some goals, to set an action plan, and then work towards kind of their evidence of mastery. And as we work through this course, you're going to see all of those pieces really come together, but this is that starting point. Goal setting is the absolute starting point. There's also places where goal setting reaches, flexible learning environments. It's obviously part of UDL, and goal setting is a big part of social emotional learning as well. So you can see that although goal setting kind of fits into the whole personalized learning wheel, we're really focusing on these two pieces: student-centered learning and student learning progressions. When we get to UDL, goal setting appears literally in 3 checkpoints. So we see it first here: heightened salience of goals and objectives under the engagement principle. And then we see it here in the action and expression principle, guiding appropriate goal setting and supporting planning and strategy development. So if I click on the star, it will bring me right to this section of the checkpoints, and I can read more about it. I can always go back to the UDL guidelines. I can click on this plus sign and it will open up all of the guidelines, and I can kind of search around and give myself some places to have some more information. But it really goes with 8.1 here, and then 6.1 and 6.2. So if I go back to my slide, if I click on the star, it's going to bring me first to guide appropriate goal setting. And then if I look here, I'll see some strategies for supporting planning and strategy development. That comes into more of the reflective pieces of goal setting. That comes into the action planning piece where they're kind of setting some action steps. And if you look at the guidelines, what this does is it gives you kind of a more broken down definition of each of the guidelines, or each of the checkpoints in this case. And then it gives you some ideas about how to implement that checkpoint. And we'll talk about more concrete strategies as we move through the rest of this module. I hope that helps kind of give you a thought about where goal setting meets UDL and personalized learning. It really is the cornerstone. It really does have one of the biggest effects when you think about what it means for kids to take ownership of their learning and what it means for kids to really start to personalize their own learning. Goal setting is the place to start. And as we go through the rest of this module, hopefully you'll see that. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and happy learning.